Using batch export, you've been able to get your images out, but you have text that you've styled as well. How do you take that and style it? You've got the actual text in your HTML documents, and hopefully you've got some hooks in terms of using good semantic markup, in terms of like what's a header, different levels of headers. But you don't want to have to try to figure out on your own what the CSS is. We've done all this work styling it. Well, the nice thing is in our share menu, up until now, we've been doing a design review, but you've also got these other ones we haven't done. Let me show you development. And in this case, we're the developer we're sharing with, but it's going to give us a really handy way of taking a look at this stuff. Now, the other thing you'll notice is that we've got downloadable assets, and this is basically the things that I've marked for export. So you can kind of try to do it all in one, but I'd really split it into two different groups just because, again, because you can only batch things in one type. So I'm fine with anyone with the link having it. So let me just show you what this looks like when you then create a public link. Takes it a second because it's going to send it up to the servers, and some of those images are a little bit bigger. And my connection is not the fastest. All right, there we go. Okay. As we can see, my connection is not the fastest. Load on up, por favor. All right. So I want to find out what the styling is of, say, home, recipes, tips, about, contribute. Let's click this guy. Before, we had only seen information for commenting, but now we have listed all of the colors and our character styles that are used. Awesome. So let me click on home here, and do you see it's given me layout properties? So it's told me that kind of what the padding needs to be, what's the font, and in this case I've used a font that isn't a website font. So if I want to use that, I got to see if I can get it using something like FontFace. And so that's the kind of the downside. So it's probably best to see if you've got something that is relatively standard. Impact isn't too off the wall. Letter spacing. In this case, there isn't. And then the color is this guy right here. The text align is left. Normal. There's the color right here, and the opacity is up all the way. Now, obviously, there are some things that are like a little bit extra that you don't need, but it's kind of nice to have all of this extra stuff. You kind of have everything. In this case, it's telling me it's impact, regular, that's the nav text. So all of my nav text is going to be this. And yeah, the fact that it gives me the CSS is super handy. So again, when I look at this image, now it's telling me I've got a 3-inch border, a 3-pixel border, 3-inch border. Geez, that would be huge. But remember that because of the way we exported it, that's already in, so we don't have to worry about that. And then but we do know like where it sits in the page. The text is basically going to be the most important thing in terms of pulling out things like the coloring, the size, and things like that. And that's going to be and again, it tells you right here, here's the color, that's the hex code for it. As you can see, hex. You can also change it to different variables if you would like. And you can copy the color there, and it'll copy the CSS, and it shows you again what's the padding. Now, this is the padding if you're doing absolute. It's probably better to, set this guy up and have it be in terms of in relationship to each other rather than absolute from the top left corner, but you can always set things in the top left corner if you want. Again, the letter spacing is 0. Here's the color in hex. And as you can see, every time I copy, if I highlight something, it copies it. So that's pretty useful. It tells you the actual content as well. So again, if I click on this, I can just click here. It copies all the text. Hopefully you have all the text in there already, but if there's anything that you're missing, I can go ahead and copy it that way. And again, here you go. That the color and hex. So all of this is going to be kind of useful for you in order to style your pages, and it works for all of your pages. Tells you all the colors that are used on each page, and it's also telling me for my information here. These were the placeholder things. I didn't go through and finish all the pages. And it tells you again the different styles. And for each of the character styles, so like if you're on the top level of a page, it tells you each of the ones, and I totally spell feature wrong there, that I'm going to be using. What's the character spacing? What's the line spacing? Because again, I mess with line spacing a lot through here, as well as the font size. So it's really, really handy. And then you can always go ahead and if you click here, it gives you all of the values in terms of CSS. And you can download that CSS and you can play with it, if anything. So that way you could copy and paste it into your CSS that you're working on. I don't know why I did a funky thing with my page right there when I did that, but you'll be able to copy and paste all this, or you can just download it as a text file, and that's going to make life a lot easier for you. And again, it even tells you this is the size of the image. There we go. It's fixed itself. There we go. So I can go ahead, click on that, and it tells me the code for that particular thing. And this is then all of the information. So hopefully that's going to make your life easier when you go into actually styling your pages out.